What is often looked at as the most underrated of the numbered Final Fantasy games, Final Fantasy V has had a unique history, first arriving stateside in a double package with Final Fantasy VI on the PlayStation 1 in 1999, and later ported to the Game Boy Advance, Steam, and mobile phones. Final Fantasy V hasn't received the fanfare as many of the other titles, sandwiched in between two fantastic entries and lacking a true remake. Final Fantasy V has always slid by the by. Yet the game has its various fans, with many people, including several on the Final Fantasy XIV team, having claimed it as their favorite. Just how good is this overlooked entry in the franchise? The gameplay of Final Fantasy V is similar to Final Fantasy IV's, with the active time battle system returning. Once your gauge fills up, you select your action while enemies are constantly attacking you, making your decisions a bit more frenetic than usual. But where Final Fantasy V differentiates itself is in the return and revamping of the job class system. Final Fantasy V allows a freedom like no other when it comes to customizing your characters. Every character has access to every class as soon as the class is made available to you. Each class has distinct abilities, such as your standard being able to cast offensive and defensive spells for black and white mages, stealing items for a thief, and so on. You level up classes by obtaining ADP from battles. As your classes continue to grow, so do the respective stats on the class, which in turn will affect the stats of your characters. Levels in the traditional sense don't matter as much in Final Fantasy V, as the only stats that are leveling up, which will be affected, are HP and MP. As your classes level up, you'll gain new abilities, and you can carry over your abilities to any other classes. For example, if one of your characters has been trained as a white mage, you can transfer the white magic command over as one of your actions when you switch your class to, say, a summoner. So now you have offensive capabilities with summons mixed in with the healing capabilities of a white mage. Final Fantasy V encourages players to mix and match their classes and abilities to find the ideal playstyle for them. If you want to dual wield spears as a dragoon and deal double damage, go for it. If you want to add in blue magic, abilities learned from enemies, to your Mystic Knight Spellblade, go for it. There are no penalties or job adjustment times for switching classes, and if at any time you want to go back and master the class, you are free to do so. What's even better is if you choose to be a freelancer, your default class. Not only do you get nearly all the innate support abilities from other classes, such as the ability to dual wield weapons, countering attacks, and etc., but you also get the stats from the highest class you've mastered. So if you mastered a knight, you would get the attack strength from a knight class. Not only that, but you can set your abilities to be that of any ones that you've obtained. With a freelancer's ability to equip any equipment, you won't need to dedicate a slot to an ability that lets you equip certain weapons. Alongside the revamped job system, enemies are developed to be more complex, with more complex patterns and have a wider variety of strategy attached to them, being able to change their weaknesses at will, banishing your party from the battlefield, and so on. The game doesn't add too much in terms of exploration, but there are a myriad of various unlockables scattered throughout the world, so be wary when attempting to complete the game that you don't miss anything. The game has 4 different areas to explore, 3 different overworlds, and the underwater sea. Rounding up, the game also has various things returned in terms of exploration. Black and yellow chocobos, the airship, submarine, and boat are your exploration options. The story of Final Fantasy V begins as the King of Tycoon leaves his castle to go investigate why the wind had begun to act strangely. He orders his daughter Lena to watch over the kingdom while he's away. However, as soon as the king arrives, the wind crystal shatters, halting the wind across the world. When he doesn't return, Lena heads off to find him. A meteorite then crashes near the castle, where it's seen by Bartz, the main hero of the game, and his trusty chocobo Boko. Bartz finds Lena under attack by goblins near the meteor and rescues her. There, they find an amnesiac old man by the name of Gallup, who insists he goes with Lena to where the wind crystal is at. Bartz tags along with the two, and when they attempt to commandeer a pirate ship, the leader Faris apprehends them before deciding to join them in their journey, as they soon discover the crystals are drained of their power and had begun shattering around, and the four are tasked to prevent them from doing it, or else they suffer the consequences. The story of Final Fantasy V is a little bit of a step down from 4 in terms of twist and certain character development. However, it makes up for it in just how charming and humorous the story is. Often played as a loving parody of what the Final Fantasy stories had been up to that point, the story is very enjoyable, and the characters exude a great charm that suits the story well. Bartz is the hopeful adventurer, Lena the all-loving princess, Faris the brash pirate, and Golef the veteran fighter. The standout character of the game, however, is Gilgamesh, second in command of the main villain Exdeath. Gilgamesh is a great and hilarious character who through the course of the game develops a friendly rivalry with the main characters, and his main banter is amongst the highlights of the game. But while the game's story is more on the lighter side, it does make the darker moments that occur within the game stand out that much more. Final Fantasy V doesn't hold back when it wants to go for the darker side, and spares no mercy on just about anyone. It is the first game to feature alternate endings, depending on how the final battle goes. The graphics of the Final Fantasy V Pixel Remastered go without saying as beautiful. The updated pixel art looks outstanding, the backgrounds are varied, and the enemies look both intimidating but also strange, and the "oh, what is this thing I'm fighting and why does it look like that?" scary weird. The standout, however, is its music. The big standout that people will know of is of course the iconic Clash on the Big Bridge, but there are so many other tracks that are fantastic in the game as well. Lena's theme is an underrated, heartfelt, emotional theme. Exdeath's theme is a haunting reminder of the evil and dangers that he poses, and the main world theme has a relaxing sense of adventure. All the battle themes get you pumped up, and there is no shortage of amazing songs throughout the game. Final Fantasy V does have a few issues. As stated earlier, some may find the less focused and developed story and characters a bit of a letdown from the prior game, as the characters for the most part remain static in terms of their character development. The class system can also be a bit complex and overwhelming. These issues may be minor for some, but for others, they can definitely bring the enjoyment of the game down a bit. Final Fantasy V is a fantastic game. Its wide range of customization amongst the characters ensures that you're always trying new classes or finding an optimal way to play. It is an addicting time messing with the job class system. Add in a funny, lighthearted characters and story with a fantastic score and you'll be having a great time. The Pixel Remaster may finally give this game the recognition it so rightly deserves as one of the best entries in the entire franchise.